They cut me out of a $500,000 inheritance, but my lawyer's move left them speechless, and I took back what was mine. My name is Sarah Mitchell, 40 years old, with dark brown hair I keep in a neat bun most days. For 15 years, I've been a real estate agent in Chicago, Illinois, closing deals on suburban homes and downtown condos. My business card says senior agent, but what I really do is solve problems. Finding the right house for a picky buyer, negotiating prices to make both sides happy, knowing every client's story like their family. I've built my career on trust, on listening, on being there when it matters. But last month, in my parents' oak-paneled dining room, I learned trust doesn't always run both ways, not even with family. If you're hooked on this family drama, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more stories of betrayal and comebacks. Stick around, you won't believe how this unfolds. It started with a family meeting. My parents, Robert and Margaret Mitchell, called me to their house in Oak Park, a quiet suburb west of Chicago. They're both in their late 60s, retired, living comfortably in the same colonial-style home where I grew up. My father, Robert, used to run a small hardware store chain before selling it 5 years ago. My mother, Margaret, was a homemaker who hosted bridge nights and baked pies for every neighborhood event. They weren't flashy, but their savings and investments added up to a hefty sum, $500,000 to be exact. I'd always assumed it would be split between me and my older sister, Emily Carson. Emily's 43, a bank manager with a sharp smile and sharper ambitions. She moved out of Chicago years ago to a sleek condo in Evanston, but she's always kept a tight grip on our parents' attention. I arrived at the house on a crisp October evening, carrying a bottle of red wine as a peace offering. Emily was already there, perched at the dining table with a leather-bound notebook. Her blonde hair was pulled back, her navy blazer pressed to perfection. She looked like she was closing a corporate deal, not sitting down for a family talk. Robert sat at the head of the table, his gray hair thinning, his hands folded tightly. Margaret hovered near the coffee maker, avoiding my eyes. The air felt heavy, like the moment before a storm breaks. I set the wine down and took a seat, my stomach twisting. Something was off. "Sarah, we've made a decision," Robert said, his voice low, deliberate. He slid a folder across the table. "We've updated our will." I opened it, my fingers steady despite the unease creeping up my spine. The document was fresh, notarized, dated 3 weeks ago. I scanned the first page, then froze. The entire estate, $500,000 in cash, investments, and the house, was going to Emily. My name wasn't even mentioned. Not a single dollar, not a keepsake, nothing. I looked up, meeting Emily's eyes. She didn't flinch, just gave a small, satisfied nod, like she'd won a game I didn't know we were playing. "Why?" I asked, keeping my voice even. Margaret fidgeted with her coffee mug, her lips pressed thin. Robert cleared his throat. "Emily's been here for us, Sarah. She's managed our accounts, handled our investments. You're busy with your work, your clients. We thought this was fair." Fair? I'd spent years driving across town to fix their leaky pipes, to take Margaret to doctor's appointments, to sit with Robert when he wanted to talk about the old days at the hardware store. Emily showed up for holidays and sent birthday cards, always late, but somehow she'd convinced them she was the responsible one, the one who deserved it all. "Emily suggested it," Margaret added softly, glancing at her. "She said you're doing well enough on your own." Emily leaned forward, her voice smooth, practiced. "Sarah, you've got your real estate business. You're closing million-dollar deals. You don't need this like I do. I'm planning for Mom and Dad's future care, their legacy." Her words dripped with concern, but her eyes were cold, calculating. I closed the folder, my nails digging into the paper. "You didn't think to talk to me first?" I asked, looking at Robert. He shifted in his seat, uncomfortable. "We made our decision," he repeated, like a rehearsed line. I stood, my chair scraping against the hardwood floor. "Thank you for letting me know." My voice was calm, but inside I was reeling. Emily's lips twitched, almost a smile. She'd expected me to argue, to beg, maybe even cry. Instead, I shook Robert's hand, hugged Margaret briefly, and walked out. In the driveway, I caught Emily watching me from the window, her silhouette sharp against the warm glow of the dining room. She thought she'd won. She had no idea what she'd just started. I drove home to my apartment in Lincoln Park, the city lights blurring as my mind raced. I'd built my life on relationships, clients who trusted me because I showed up, listened, delivered. I knew their kids' names, their dream neighborhoods, their budgets. I'd closed deals other agents couldn't touch because I understood people, not just properties. But my own family? They'd just written me off like I was a stranger. I poured a glass of wine, sat at my kitchen table, and stared at the folder I'd taken with me. $500,000. It wasn't just the money. It was the betrayal, the dismissal, the assumption I wouldn't fight back. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a text from Laura Bennett, my best friend since college. She worked as a notary at a law firm downtown, handling estate documents for wealthy clients. "Heard about the family meeting," her message read. "You okay? Call me." Laura had always been my sounding board, the one who knew the messy history between me and Emily. I called her, and before I could finish explaining, she interrupted. "Sarah, I notarized that will. Something's not right." "Meet me for coffee." My pulse quickened. Laura wasn't one for drama. She dealt in facts, signatures, legal stamps. If she thought something was off, I needed to hear it. We met at a cafe in the Loop, a small place with exposed brick walls and the hum of morning commuters. Laura slid into the booth, her dark curls bouncing as she leaned forward. "The will was rushed," she said, keeping her voice low. "Emily brought it to our office, said it was urgent. Your parents weren't even there when I stamped it, just Emily and their lawyer, William Foster." I frowned. "That's not normal, is it?" Laura shook her head. "Not for a will this size. Usually, both parties are present to confirm intent." And Sarah, Emily was pushy, kept saying it had to be done that day. I sipped my coffee, letting her words sink in. Emily hadn't just convinced our parents, she'd orchestrated this. "Could it be challenged?" I asked. Laura hesitated. "Maybe. You'd need a lawyer who knows estate law inside out, someone who can dig into the details, signatures, witnesses, mental capacity. If Emily pressured them, there might be a case." She scribbled a name on a napkin. "David Reynolds, estate attorney. He's the best in Chicago," she said. "Expensive, but he's won cases like this before." I tucked the napkin into my purse, my mind already moving. I wasn't going to let Emily rewrite my place in this family, not without a fight. Back at my office, I pulled up the will again, reading every line. The language was airtight, or so it seemed. William Foster had been the family's lawyer for years, trusted by Robert and Margaret. But Laura's words stuck with me. Why wasn't I told? Why were my parents absent when the will was notarized? I called David Reynolds' office and scheduled a meeting for the next day. Then I reached out to Michael Harper, a colleague in real estate who'd worked with me on dozens of deals. Michael was 38, a project manager with a knack for reading people and sniffing out bad contracts. "Sarah, this sounds like a setup," he said over the phone. "Emily's always been about control. You need to protect yourself, legally and financially." That evening, I sat in my home office, staring at old family photos. There was one from my high school graduation. Me, Emily, Robert, and Margaret, smiling in the backyard. Emily had always been the golden child, the one who got straight A's and never forgot to call home. I was the workhorse, the one who fixed things, who stayed late to help clients, who drove an hour to check on mom and dad. But somehow, Emily had painted me as the distant one, the one who didn't need the inheritance. My phone buzzed again, a text from Ethan, my 18-year-old son, away at college. "Heard about Grandma and Grandpa's will. You okay, Mom?" Ethan was my anchor, the one who kept me grounded. I texted back, "I'm handling it. Love you." I wasn't just fighting for me, I was fighting for him, for our future. The meeting with David Reynolds was a game changer. His office was on the 40th floor of a glass tower downtown with views of Lake Michigan. David was 45, with salt and pepper hair and a calm, no-nonsense demeanor. I handed him the will, and he read it in silence, his pen tapping against his desk. "This is unusual," he said finally. "The will's notarized, but there's no record of a witness present during the signing. That's a potential flaw. And if Emily exerted undue influence, say by pressuring your parents when they were vulnerable, that could invalidate it." I leaned forward. "Can you prove that?" David smiled, just a flicker. "Give me a week. I'll dig into William Foster's files and your parents' medical records. If there's something to find, I'll find it." I left his office feeling lighter, like I'd taken the first step on a long road. But I wasn't naive. Emily wouldn't sit quietly while I challenged her victory. She'd always been one step ahead, always ready with a counterattack. That night, I got a call from her. "Sarah, I heard you're poking around about the will," she said, her voice sharp. "You need to let this go. Mom and Dad made their choice." I gripped the phone, keeping my tone steady. "I'm just making sure everything's fair, Emily." She laughed, a brittle sound. "Fair? You're not entitled to anything. You've got your fancy real estate career. Leave this to me." I didn't argue. I just hung up, forwarded the call recording to David, and poured another glass of wine. Emily thought she knew me. She thought I'd back down. She was wrong. Over the next few days, I started piecing things together. Michael offered to look into Emily's financials through his contacts in the banking world. "She's got a lot of debt," he told me over lunch at a deli near my office. "Credit cards, a second mortgage on her condo. She's been living beyond her means for years." That explained why she wanted the inheritance so badly. It wasn't about Mom and Dad's care, it was about saving herself. I also called Laura again, asking her to check the notary records for anything unusual. "There's a second document," she texted later, "a power of attorney Emily filed for your parents, dated the same week as the will. It's fishy, Sarah." I forwarded that to David too. The puzzle was coming together, but I needed more. I drove to my parents' house unannounced on a Sunday morning. Robert was in the garage, tinkering with an old radio. Margaret was in the kitchen, kneading dough for her famous cinnamon rolls. "Sarah," Margaret said, surprised, wiping flour off her hands, "we weren't expecting you." I sat at the counter, choosing my words carefully. "Mom, did you and Dad really want to leave everything to Emily?" She froze, her eyes darting to the doorway where Robert stood, listening. "It's what we decided," he said gruffly, but his hands were shaking. "Emily said it was for the best." I pressed gently. "Did she tell you to sign the will without me there? Did she push you?" Margaret's face crumpled, and she turned away. Robert didn't answer. Their silence told me everything. Emily hadn't just asked for the inheritance, she'd manipulated them. I didn't push further. I hugged them both, promised to visit soon, and left. In the car, I called David. "They're not talking," I said, "but they're scared. Emily's got them wrapped around her finger." David was calm, methodical. "That's enough to start with," he said. "If we can show coercion, we've got a case. I'm pulling their medical records now. Your dad had a mild stroke last year, didn't he? That could prove vulnerability." I nodded, even though he couldn't see me. Robert's stroke had been minor, but it left him quieter, more reliant on Margaret and Emily. I'd been too busy with work to notice how much Emily had stepped in. By the end of the week, David had a plan. "We're not going to court yet," he said during our next meeting. "We'll start with a letter to William Foster demanding a review of the will's validity. It'll put Emily on notice without escalating too fast." I agreed, but I also reached out to Michael again. "Can you talk to some of our real estate contacts?" I asked. "Emily's bank handles a lot of mortgage deals in Chicago. If they hear she's involved in something shady, it might make her sweat." Michael grinned over the phone. "I know just the people to call. I wasn't breaking any laws. I was just letting the truth do its work." That night, I sat with Ethan's old baby photos, remembering the late nights I'd spent building my career to give him a good life. Emily had no kids, no responsibilities beyond herself. She'd always seen me as the less deserving one, the one who didn't need help because I'd made it on my own. But this wasn't about money anymore. It was about respect, about family, about not letting her erase me. My phone buzzed with a text from Laura. "Found something big. Call me tomorrow." I set the phone down, my heart racing. Whatever Laura had, it was the next piece of the puzzle. Emily had no idea what was coming. Laura's text had kept me up half the night. "Found something big. Call me tomorrow." I woke early, the Chicago skyline gray through my apartment window. My coffee was cold by the time I dialed Laura Bennett, my best friend and the notary who'd raised the first red flag about my parents' will. "Sarah," she said, her voice low, urgent. "I pulled the notary logs from the day Emily brought in the will. There's a problem with the witness signature. It's William Foster's paralegal, but she wasn't in the office that day. I checked the timesheets." My grip tightened on the phone. "You're saying the witness didn't actually see my parents sign?" Laura paused. "Exactly. That could make the will invalid. You need to tell David Reynolds." I thanked her, my mind racing. Emily hadn't just manipulated our parents. She'd played dirty with the legal process. I called David, my estate attorney, and relayed Laura's discovery. He was in his office, papers rustling in the background. "This is good, Sarah," he said, his tone steady but sharp. "A missing witness is a crack in their armor. I'll request the notary records and cross-check them with William Foster's files. But we need more, something to prove Emily pressured your parents." I nodded, though he couldn't see me. "What about that power of attorney Laura mentioned?" I asked. "Could it show coercion?" David's pen tapped against his desk, a habit I was starting to recognize. "Possibly. If Emily used it to control their finances before the will was signed, it could show undue influence. I'll dig deeper." I hung up, feeling a spark of hope. Emily thought she'd covered her tracks. She hadn't. I headed to my real estate office in Lincoln Park, where my colleague Michael Harper was waiting. Michael had been in the business as long as I had, his desk cluttered with property listings and coffee cups. "Got something for you," he said, sliding a folder across his desk. Inside were printouts of Emily's financials, pulled through his banking contacts. "She's drowning in debt," he said, pointing to a line showing $30,000 in credit card balances and a second mortgage on her Evanston condo. "She's been living like a high roller, fancy dinners, designer bags, but her bank account's a mess." I scanned the numbers, my jaw tightening. Emily hadn't wanted the inheritance for our parents' care. She needed it to save herself. "This explains a lot," I said, closing the folder. Michael leaned back, his eyes narrowing. "She's got connections at her bank, Sarah. They handle big real estate loans in Chicago. If word gets out she's pulling shady moves, it could hurt her career." I nodded, an idea forming. "Can you talk to a few of our clients?" Discreetly. "Just mention there's talk about Emily's ethics." Michael grinned. "I know exactly who to call. Give me a few days. I wasn't soliciting anything illegal. I was just letting the truth ripple through the industry. Emily's reputation was her currency. She'd feel the pressure soon enough." Back home, I pored over the will again, my kitchen table covered in notes. The witness issue was a start, but David needed more to build a case. I called my son, Ethan, at college. He'd always been close to his grandparents, spending summers helping Robert in the garage or baking with Margaret. "Ethan," I said, keeping my voice steady, "did Grandma or Grandpa ever mention changing their will?" He hesitated, then said, "Grandpa called me a month ago." He sounded upset, said Emily was pushing them to make decisions about money. He didn't want to talk about it, though. My heart sank. Robert's stroke last year had left him quieter, more vulnerable. Emily had seen an opening and taken it. I drove to Oak Park the next afternoon, unannounced again. Margaret was in the garden, clipping roses. She looked up, startled, her hands trembling. "Sarah, you shouldn't keep coming like this," she said, glancing toward the house. I knelt beside her, keeping my voice soft. "Mom, did Emily tell you what to do with the will?" Margaret's eyes filled with tears. "She said it was for the best, that you didn't need it. We didn't want to hurt you." I took her hand, feeling the weight of her guilt. "Did she make you sign something you didn't understand?" Margaret looked away, her silence louder than words. I didn't press. I hugged her and left, knowing I'd get nothing more until David had hard evidence. That evening, David called with an update. "I got the power of attorney document," he said. "Emily filed it 3 days before the will was notarized. It gives her control over your parents' bank accounts and investments. And here's the kicker, your father's medical records show he was on new medication after his stroke, which could have affected his decision-making. If we can prove Emily used that to her advantage, we've got a strong case." I leaned against my kitchen counter, my pulse quickening. "What's next?" I asked. "I'm drafting a letter to William Foster," David said. "It'll demand a full review of the will and the power of attorney. Emily will get a copy. She'll know we're coming for her." The letter went out the next day. I didn't hear from Emily directly, but Michael called with news. "Talked to a couple of clients who work with Emily's bank," he said. "Dropped a hint about her being involved in a messy estate dispute. They're already asking questions." I thanked him, my mind spinning. Emily's world was built on appearances, her perfect job, her perfect condo, her perfect control. If that started to crack, she'd panic. I wasn't breaking any rules. I was just letting the truth do its work, the same way my clients trusted me to deliver on a house deal. 2 days later, Emily called. I was at my office reviewing a contract for a client buying a brownstone in Wicker Park. "Sarah, this has to stop," she said, her voice tight, almost shrill. "You're stirring up trouble with my colleagues." I kept my tone neutral. "I haven't said a word to your colleagues, Emily. Maybe they're just hearing things." She scoffed. "Don't play innocent. I know you're behind this. Drop it, or I'll make sure Mom and Dad cut you out of their lives completely." I gripped my pen, my knuckles white. "You already did that with the will," I said calmly. "I'm just making sure everything's fair." She hung up, but I could hear the fear in her silence. I forwarded the call to David. He'd told me to record everything. It could be useful later. Laura called the next morning with another bombshell. "I found an email chain between Emily and William Foster," she said. "It's from the week the will was signed. She told him to rush it, said your parents were fully on board but didn't want a family meeting. That's not how estate planning works, Sarah." I felt a chill. Emily hadn't just pressured our parents. She'd lied to their lawyer. "Can you send me those emails?" I asked. "Already did," Laura said. "But be careful. If Emily finds out I'm helping you, she could make trouble for me at work. I promised to keep her name out of it. Laura wasn't just a friend. She was risking her job to help me." I met David at his office that afternoon. He read the emails, his expression unreadable. "This is gold," he said finally. "Emily's instructions to William show she was calling the shots, not your parents. Combined with the missing witness and your father's medical records, we can argue undue influence. But we need one more thing, proof your parents didn't fully understand what they were signing." I thought of Margaret's tears, Robert's shaking hands. They're scared of Emily, I said. They won't talk unless they know she can't hurt them. David nodded. Then we keep the pressure on. The letter I sent should shake things up. Emily's already rattled. She'll make a mistake soon. That night, I got a text from Michael. Big news. One of Emily's clients, a developer we work with, just pulled a loan application from her bank. Said they don't trust her judgment anymore. I smiled, but it wasn't joy. It was focus. Emily's perfect world was starting to crack, just as I'd hoped. I wasn't soliciting her clients or spreading rumors. I was just letting the truth spread, the way I'd always worked with my own clients. Honest, steady, reliable. But Emily wasn't like me. She'd built her life on control, not trust, and that was her weakness. The next day, I visited my parents again. Robert was in the living room, watching a baseball game. Margaret was folding laundry, her movements slow, deliberate. "Sarah," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "Emily's been calling us non-stop. She's upset about a letter from some lawyer." I sat on the couch, keeping my tone gentle. "That's from my attorney, Mom. We're just asking questions about the will." Robert muted the TV, his eyes fixed on me. "We didn't want this, Sarah," he said. "Emily said it was the only way to protect our savings. She said you'd be fine without it." I took a deep breath. "Did she tell you what you were signing? Did you read the will?" They exchanged a glance, then looked away. "She handled everything," Margaret admitted. "We trusted her." I didn't push. I knew they felt trapped, caught between their daughters. "I'm not trying to hurt anyone," I said. "I just want what's fair." Robert reached for my hand, his grip weak but warm. "We should have talked to you," he said. I hugged them both, promising to fix this without tearing the family apart. Driving home, I felt a strange calm. Emily had underestimated me, just like she'd underestimated our parents' trust in me. But I wasn't fighting for revenge. I was fighting for what was right. For me, for Ethan, for the family I'd spent years holding together. David called the next morning with a plan. "We're ready to escalate," he said. "I'm filing a formal petition to challenge the will's validity. It'll cite the missing witness, the power of attorney, and Emily's emails to William Foster. We'll also request a mental capacity evaluation for your father, based on his medical history." I hesitated. "Will that hurt Dad?" David's voice softened. "It's just a formality to strengthen our case. We're not saying he's incompetent, just that he was vulnerable when Emily pushed him to sign." I agreed, trusting David's judgment. He'd already proven he could find cracks in Emily's plan. That afternoon, Michael stopped by my office with more news. "Word's spreading," he said. "2 more of Emily's clients are asking questions about her. One's a big developer we've worked with. They're thinking of switching banks." I thanked him, but I kept my response neutral. I didn't need to gloat. The truth was doing its work, and Emily was feeling the heat. Her perfect image, bank manager, trusted daughter, was crumbling. I wasn't breaking any laws or spreading lies. I was just letting the industry talk, the way it always did when someone's ethics came into question. By the end of the week, Emily called again. This time, her voice was shaking. "Sarah, you're ruining my life," she said. "My boss called me in today, said clients are pulling back because of rumors about the will." I stayed calm. "I'm not spreading rumors, Emily. I'm just asking for a fair review of Mom and Dad's decision." She snapped. "You're not getting a dime of that money. I'll fight you in court if I have to." I smiled, knowing David had recorded the call. "Do what you need to, Emily," I said. "I'm just protecting our family." After hanging up, I forwarded the recording to David. He texted back immediately, "She's losing control. We're close." I sat in my apartment that night, staring at a photo of Ethan from his high school graduation. He'd texted earlier, asking how things were going. "I'm proud of you, Mom," he wrote. "Don't let Aunt Emily win." I wouldn't. This wasn't just about the money. It was about proving I wasn't the daughter who could be erased. Emily had underestimated me, just like she'd underestimated the strength of my relationships. With Laura, with Michael, with our parents. I'd built my career on trust, on showing up, on keeping my promises. Now I was using those same principles to take back what was mine. And Emily was about to learn what that really meant. Emily's threat to drag me into court lingered in my mind, but I wasn't scared. I'd built my real estate career on navigating tough deals, on reading people, on staying calm when the stakes were high. This wasn't a closing table in Chicago, it was my family, my legacy, my fight. But I had David Reynolds, my lawyer, and a growing stack of evidence that Emily had manipulated our parents' will. Her perfect plan was unraveling, and I was ready to see it through. I sat in my Lincoln Park apartment, the city lights flickering outside, and opened my laptop to review the emails Laura had sent. Emily's instructions to William Foster, the family lawyer, were damning, proof she'd rushed the will without our parents' full consent. I forwarded them to David, my hands steady. Emily thought she could erase me. She was about to learn how wrong she was. David called the next morning, his voice calm but charged with purpose. "Sarah, we're ready to move," he said. "The petition to challenge the will is filed. It cites the missing witness, the power of attorney, and Emily's emails. I also included a request for a mental capacity evaluation for your father based on his stroke and medication records. It's a strong case." I leaned against my kitchen counter, gripping my coffee mug. "What happens now?" I asked. "William Foster has 10 days to respond," David said. "If he doesn't, we escalate to a hearing. But I'm betting Emily will try to settle before that. She's already cracking." I nodded, trusting his instincts. David wasn't just a lawyer, he was a strategist, and he knew how to play Emily's game better than she did. That afternoon, Michael Harper, my colleague, stopped by my office with an update. "The rumors about Emily are spreading like wildfire," he said, leaning back in his chair. "2 more developers pulled their accounts from her bank this week. They're saying she's unreliable, caught up in a shady family dispute." I raised an eyebrow. "I didn't ask you to spread rumors, Michael." He grinned, unapologetic. "You didn't have to. I just mentioned the truth to a few people. Your sister's involved in a messy will fight. The industry's doing the rest." I didn't smile back, but I felt a quiet satisfaction. Emily's career was built on her reputation. If that crumbled, she'd have no one to blame but herself. I drove to Oak Park that evening, needing to see my parents. Robert was in the garage, polishing an old toolbox from his hardware store days. Margaret was in the kitchen, setting out teacups like she was expecting company. "Sarah," she said, her voice soft, almost fragile, "Emily's been calling, saying you're trying to ruin her." I sat at the counter, keeping my tone gentle. "I'm not trying to ruin anyone, Mom. I'm just making sure the will reflects what you and Dad really wanted." Robert walked in, his hands still smudged with polish. "We didn't mean to hurt you," he said, his voice heavy. "Emily said it was the best way to keep our savings safe." I looked between them, seeing the guilt in their eyes. "Did you know she rushed the will without a proper witness?" I asked. Margaret's hands froze on a teacup. Robert looked away. Their silence was all the confirmation I needed. I didn't stay long. I hugged them both, promising to keep them updated. Driving back, I called Laura Bennett. "Any more news on William Foster's files?" I asked. She hesitated, then said, "I shouldn't be doing this, Sarah, but I found a draft of the will, dated a month before the final version. It split the estate evenly between you and Emily." My heart skipped. "Why didn't it stay that way?" I asked. "Emily emailed William, said your parents changed their minds. But there's no record of them meeting him to confirm it." I thanked her, my mind racing. Emily hadn't just pressured our parents, she'd rewritten their intentions. I forwarded Laura's email to David. We were closing in. The next day, David called with big news. "William Foster responded to our petition," he said. "He's offering to mediate, says he wants to avoid a hearing. But here's the real bombshell. I found a handwritten note in your father's medical file dated the day the will was signed. It says he felt pushed by Emily to something he didn't fully understand." I sat down, my breath catching. "That's it, isn't it?" I said. "That's the proof we need." David's voice held a hint of a smile. "It's enough to scare Emily into settling. I'm drafting a proposal. She returns your half of the inheritance, or we take it to court and expose her." I agreed, feeling a weight lift. Emily's house of cards was collapsing. 2 days later, Emily called. I was at my office, finalizing a deal for a client buying a condo in the Loop. "Sarah, we need to talk," she said, her voice stripped of its usual confidence. "Meet me at the cafe near your office, 1 hour." I agreed, curious but cautious. I arrived at the cafe, a small place with wooden tables and the smell of fresh coffee. Emily was already there, nursing a latte, her blonde hair loose, her eyes tired. She didn't stand when I approached, just gestured to the chair across from her. "You're destroying my life," she said, her voice low, shaky. "My boss is threatening to fire me. Clients are leaving. This has to stop." I stirred my coffee, keeping my expression neutral. "I'm not doing anything, Emily. I'm just asking for what's fair." She leaned forward, her hands gripping the table. "Fair? You think you deserve half the inheritance? You're the one who's always been fine without Mom and Dad's help." I met her eyes, unflinching. "You lied to them, Emily. You rushed the will, faked a witness, used a power of attorney to control their money. That's not fair, that's theft." Her face paled, and for the first time I saw fear in her eyes. "You can't prove that," she said, but her voice wavered. "I don't have to," I replied. "David's petition is already filed. The court will decide unless you agree to split the estate." She stared at me, her lips pressed thin. "You're bluffing," she said, but she didn't sound sure. I stood, leaving my coffee untouched. "Talk to William Foster," I said. "He's got 10 days to respond. After that, it's out of my hands." I walked out, feeling her eyes on my back. Emily had always underestimated me, thought I'd fold under pressure. But I'd spent years closing real estate deals with clients tougher than her. I knew how to hold my ground. That evening, David texted. "Emily's lawyer called. She wants to settle. Meet me tomorrow to review the terms." I poured a glass of wine, my hands steady. The tide was turning, and Emily knew it. The next morning, I met David at his office. He slid a document across his desk, a proposed settlement. Emily would agree to split the inheritance evenly, $250,000 for me, $250,000 for her. The house would remain in our parents' names until they passed, with equal rights for both of us. "This is better than going to court," David said. "It avoids a public fight, and you get what you're owed." I read the terms, my heart pounding. It wasn't just about the money. It was about being seen, about being valued. "Do it," I said. David nodded, already drafting the final agreement. That afternoon, I got a call from Michael. "Emily's bank just lost another major client," he said. "They're blaming her for mishandling accounts. Word is she's on thin ice." I thanked him, keeping my response neutral. I didn't need to push anymore. The truth was doing its work. Emily's career, her reputation, her control, it was all slipping away. I hadn't spread a single rumor or broken a single rule. I just let the industry see her for who she was, and it was enough. A week later, the settlement was signed. I met my parents at their house to explain. Margaret was in the kitchen, her eyes red from crying. Robert sat at the dining table, his hands folded, his face heavy with regret. "We didn't know," Margaret said, her voice breaking. "Emily told us it was for the best. We trusted her." I took her hand, keeping my voice soft. "I know, Mom. It's over now. The estate's split fairly." Robert looked up, his eyes meeting mine. "We should have listened to you, Sarah," he said. "We made a mistake." I hugged them both, feeling the weight of years lift off my shoulders. They weren't perfect, but they were my parents, and they'd been manipulated just like I had. Emily didn't call or show up. I heard from Laura that she'd taken a leave of absence from her bank, citing personal reasons. Her condo in Evanston was up for sale, a sign she was scrambling to cover her debts. I didn't reach out. I didn't need to. The truth had done its work, and Emily was paying the price for her choices. I deposited my half of the inheritance into a trust for Ethan's future, ensuring he'd have options: college, a house, a start in life. That's what family was to me, building something that lasted, not tearing it apart for personal gain. 2 months later, I was back in my office, closing a deal for a young couple buying their first home in Wicker Park. My team had grown. 2 new agents I'd trained myself, both hungry to learn the business the way I did, with trust, with relationships, with promises kept. My phone buzzed with a text from Ethan. "Coming home for the weekend, Mom. Proud of you." I smiled, setting the phone down. That evening, I drove to my parents' house for dinner. Margaret had made her famous cinnamon rolls, and Robert was telling stories about his hardware store days. For the first time in months, we laughed together, the tension gone. A year to the day after that first family meeting, I sat in my new office, a bigger space downtown, with a view of the Chicago River. My team had closed deals worth $3 million that quarter, and I'd been promoted to regional manager. On my desk was a photo from Ethan's college move-in day, his smile wide, his future bright. My assistant buzzed the intercom. "There's an Emily Carson here to see you," she said. "No appointment." I paused, then nodded. "Send her in." Emily walked in, her designer blazer replaced by a simple sweater, her face drawn. "Sarah," she said, standing awkwardly, "I'm with a consulting firm now. I'm working on a case study about family disputes. I'd like your perspective on resolving conflicts." I almost laughed at the irony. She wasn't here for a case study. She was here to make peace, to salvage something from the mess she'd made. "You know my perspective, Emily," I said, my voice calm but firm. "It's about trust, about keeping your word. You didn't." She nodded, her eyes dropping. "I made a mistake," she admitted. "I thought I was doing the right thing." I stood, gesturing to the door. "I'm busy these days," I said, "but good luck with your case study." She left her business card on my desk, but I didn't pick it up. After she was gone, I dropped it in the shredder. That evening, I drove to Ethan's new apartment, a small place near his college. He'd invited me for dinner, proud to show off his first home-cooked meal. "How's work, Mom?" he asked as we sat on his tiny balcony. "Good," I said, smiling, "building something that lasts." And I was. Not with contracts or money, but with the same principles I'd always lived by. Do the work, keep your promises, value relationships over transactions. Emily had given me an unexpected gift. She'd forced me to prove what I was worth, not just to her, but to myself. Family secrets unravel. Trust shatters forever.